Hello. Right, so in this one, we're going to talk about how to watercolor your fabric if you would like to watercolor your fabric for the paid stitch along. So for the paid stitch along, I've just undone my fabric, okay? So it looks like this. Yeah? And you can either watercolor behind your pattern, meaning you've got white fabric, and then you've got maybe a red or a pink or a black or whatever color you choose, heart in the middle, or you can have a white heart and then have whatever color fabric that you want. Okay? I've actually just thought of a third way, and that is to like stitch on a piece of felt or something and then stick it on top of like a colored fabric. That would be so cute. But I'm not going to go there. So what we're going to do right now is watercolor our fabric. Okay. So I'm going to do a couple different tests on this little piece here to see what color I want to do. Probably some pinks or reds, or maybe a little bit pink, a little bit red. I don't know. And then I'm going to do the actual fabric. So what we're going to focus on right now is how to do that, basically. Okay. And the number one question that I get is how to make a nice crisp line without it bleeding into the rest of your pattern. So as you see, or as you can see here, we've got a nice heart shape. So what we don't want is to have watercolor going from here all the way into our white heart. Okay, I want to keep my heart all the way white. So I want to have a nice crisp, fresh line all the way around for my heart. Okay, now it's exactly the same if you want to do your heart a color and you want to have your fabric white. So it works both ways. So if you want to, you could also do the inside of your heart a different color and then stitch on top of that colored watercolored fabric. Okay, so a couple things here. If you've used a water soluble pen, you're gonna have a bad time. Okay, because when you get it wet, it's going to disappear. So bad news bears, you're going to have to retrace it. So if you want to do the inside, trace the outside heart first, then you're going to watercolor the inside and do the whole thing. Yeah. And then when it's all dry, you're going to retrace the pattern onto your fabric. Like I said, I'm so hopped up on cold medicine. I feel like I'm delirious. Okay. So you're just going to retrace it on there. Okay. So after you retrace it, then you'll have a colored heart with your pattern on top. Okay. I feel like that would be so cute. Do I want to do the outside colored or do I want to do the inside colored? Because the more I talk about the inside colored, the more I've convinced myself that I would like to color the inside. The first couple people who reply, that's what I'm going to do. So if you've got a strong feeling about this, reply right now. Because my plan was to do the outside. Okay. So it looked like a colored fabric with a white heart. But what do you think? Should I do a colored inside? If I do a colored outside, I could do more colors on the inside. I'm thinking outside. I'm thinking colored outside. Live on the edge. Inside. Oh my gosh. What? Those are two. Inside. No, Jasmine, no. I've just convinced myself that I should do the outside. Why are you doing this to me? Let's see. outside. Okay. I don't know. Right. So outside. We've got 2 for inside and 2 for outside. I feel like there should be a tiebreaker right now. Outside. That's 3 for outside and 2 for inside. Half and half. How'd you do that? Like a line down the middle? I say outside. I think outside too. See, I think outside too. Right. So if I do the outside, right? Inside. Stop it. If I do the outside, we'll have a white on the inside and we'll do lots of colors on the inside here. Okay. But I'm just saying we should have not got a choice clearly. But this is the fun part because now you can choose what you want to do on your own. Okay. So it's not only up to me. I'm just going to give you an example. And maybe I'll do the outside and hate it and then like swap it. I don't know. All right. I need to have another drink of Diet Coke. I've just got Diet Coke. Okay. I've just got Diet Coke. Okay. So what I'm going to do really quickly is just show you a couple of different techniques. All right. So that you can decide on your own what you want to do. And so that you can get that nice crisp line for the heart. All right. So I've got just a basic, 2 super basic watercolor, like kits or whatever they're called. So this one here is actually from when I used to teach in Shanghai. So this is like a super, super basic, like a 16 pan watercolor kit thing. Okay. We gave it to like each of our students. It's really old because it's broken. Okay. Super easy. This one here I got actually at Hobbycraft here in England, and there's a bunch of different colors. You can see I've used a lot because a lot of the colors are gone. Like that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one completely gone. So I've used them for a long time. What you're going to do is do this. You're going to get just like a mug of water like that. I'm just going to show you a couple different like watercolor techniques. Okay. So the first one I'm going to show, let's just get it a little bit zoomed in. Oh my God. I feel like I need like Sudafed or something. The first one is wet on wet. Okay. I would not recommend this for the heart because what's going to happen is you're going to see it bleed. All right. But it's good to show it because as you get to those outside areas, and we don't need a nice straight line for the heart, you want it to kind of like bleed away. Okay. So this is what's going to happen. You're going to get your color, right? And get it nice and wet. Let me just get a couple of these colors wet because they need to kind of like saturate a little bit. If you've ever used watercolor before, you'll know exactly what I mean. Oh my God, there's like no colors left in this palette. I might have to use this like cheapy one. Just get it nice and wet there. Okay. And we might have to mix a couple colors together. That's totally fine too. So if you find that you're like, I can't find the right color. Now, if you're mixing colors together, what you want to do is mix enough of the color to do the whole thing. All right. So whether that's like in a separate pot or whether that's using like the lid here, which is clearly what I've been doing. All right. Is use that area to mix as much of the color that you know you want to use to do the whole thing if you want the whole thing to be one color. Okay? Right. So let's get started. So what we're going to do is a wet on wet. And what you're going to do is get your fabric wet like that. Okay, so you can see. You can't see. I thought you'd be able to see. But you can see right here is wet. And what's going to happen is if I put wet on there, do you see how it like bursts out like that? So what's happening is because the fibers are wet and your paintbrush is wet and your watercolor is wet, it's going to spread out along those wet fibers. Okay? Now, this gives a super, super beautiful look if you're trying to, like, mix colors. Yeah? So if you're trying to mix, say, these two colors together. So you've got your wet fabric and you've got your wet watercolor and you want to kind of mix them together like that. It gives a super beautiful gradient. Okay, between the two colors. I'm just trying to zoom out really quickly. Okay, but this right here is going to continue to spread until the fabric is not wet anymore. So wherever I've made that fabric wet, that's where it's going to spread to. And where it dries, that's where it's kind of going to stop. All right? So what we want is a nice straight edge or a straight line. So what I'm going to do is kind of pretend that this line right here is the line that I want to go up to. So I don't want to go across that line. I just want to go up to that line. And what I'm going to do, it's actually a really pretty color, this one here, is keep my fabric dry. I'm going to put a little bit of watercolor, a little bit of water into my watercolor so it's quite thick. Okay, it's not super, super watery. I've just put like, so what I mean by that is if I put a bunch of water in this one, say, well, there's not much watercolor in there. Do you see how it's not very colorful and it's mostly just water? Maybe it would be better if I use a color that there's actually watercolor in, like this purpley. I only have like the smallest brush as well. So you just keep putting water and you keep putting water and you keep putting water. It becomes very, very watery with not a lot of color in it. Okay? Whereas if I continue to rub the color out, what you're going to get is a lot of color and not a lot of water. Yeah? Do you see? Does that make sense? So what I'm going to do here is rub on my watercolor. Yeah? And I'm going to follow this line like that. So this is dry fabric. You can add a bit of water after the fact, okay? We don't want to get it super wet close to that line. We want to keep it away from there. And this is where the more water that you add, the lighter the color or less pigmented the color is going to be. Okay. So this right here is what we have. Yeah. So you have a nice straight crisp line. And then you have your watercolor going alongside it. All right. So we've got over here a mixing of the colors. So we've got purple and kind of that reddish color, but super watered down. Yeah, a watercolory kind of look. Then we have over here the same color, one of them super watered down, and this one right here, more watercolor in it, more pigmented. And then here we're just following that line along there. Okay, so let me tidy this up a bit, and we're going to do the actual one, and then we'll be all done. Because I'm not going to keep you all day, okay? I'm not going to keep you all night. Let's just tidy that up so we don't get into normally, all right? Normally, when I do this, I put a trash bag down. I don't have a trash bag up here. I forgot one. So if you're going to do this like on your kitchen table or like on a desk or something, yeah, put a trash bag down. Okay? All you need to do is take a trash bag and cut the end off and then lay it flat. All right? And that gives a really, really, really nice base for doing this. Okay? Please don't like mess up your tables because you're like, I was just doing watercolor with Tori's stitch along. And then all of a sudden you're like sending me a bill for refinishing your table or something. No, no, no. No, no, no. Smile says, naughty, naughty, naughty. Okay, let's do the actual one. So we've got our fabric here. Now, I have hooped my fabric beforehand. Okay, so I know exactly where my fabric is gonna go. Meaning, this is the size of the hoop. Okay, if you haven't done that, all you need to do is you can just simply put your hoop over top and draw a circle. Yeah, and that will show you how far to do the watercolor. So, here we go. I think I'm going to use that same color because it was quite pretty. Okay. Sorry, I hope this is doing it good. Let me know if you've got any questions or anything like that. So all we're going to do is make this super pigmented like this. We're going to go right along the edge there. So I've not actually gotten more water yet at all. Let's get a bit of water and we're just going to pull that down to the outside. Like that. The outside of my hoop. Now, this is going to be slow going, okay? This isn't something you can just like slap on. Especially if you want a really nice, like, dark, all the same color. These are not, like, artist grade watercolor paints, by the way. These are just ones you get at Hobbycraft. They're not anything special. They're not, like, super expensive. I think they were, like, $4.99 or something like that. If I remember correctly. They're, like, not... You can't see my face because I'm got snot down my face. Halfway down my face is snot and I'm like sniffing. But again, if you've got any questions at all, please ask them. And I'm more than happy to answer. Okay, do not think that you've got a stupid question. There are no stupid questions. I used to be a teacher to anyone from 3 years old all the way until 18. I know stupid questions. There isn't one. I promise you. If you've got a question or if you've got a problem, if you've got an issue, please just ask it. Do not sit there and suffer in silence. Okay? You can blend colors as well, like I showed in the example, so it doesn't have to all be the same exact color. like super pigmented color, you could do like a pink to a purple, blue, you could do black on the outside. We are going to do an outline around the heart, so like, don't worry if it's not actually like perfect all the way around. I wouldn't go and like move your fabric all the way around whilst you're painting, because the paint does go through the fabric, and it will get paint where you don't want it on the fabric. Meaning, I could very well take this right here and turn it. Okay, if I did that, I would get paint where I don't want it. Now, someone's just said, why not paint the fabric in the hoop? And that is because I don't want to get paint on my hoop. I want my hoop to be a wooden color and stay that way. Now, if you don't mind getting paint on your hoop, then obviously you could do that. That's totally fine. All right. And this is one of those where, like, if it works for you, works for you. If you found that you've painted in the hoop and you're like, I don't have a problem with that, then go ahead and do that if that's what you want to do. But I tend to use my hoops like over and over and over again. So that's just my choice. Someone said, get a tissue for your nose. We can wait. I would, except I'm in the loft. And I'm so far up. I don't want to wake the kids going downstairs to get a tissue. What I need, really, is to set this place up over the next couple days. This color is so pretty, though. I feel like it's going to look so nice. I will go back and look for any comments and stuff in just a minute. So if you've like commented or anything and you're like, Tori, why are you not answering me? I will, I promise. Just give me 1 second, because I want my hoop to look good too, guys. Okay? Like, I want mine to look good. I want to display mine. Okay. Alright. I'm almost done. So you can use that wet on wet technique to blend any of the colors that you want. And then the wet on dry to really get like that nice crisp line. Come on. Get in. Okay. That's pretty much done now. Just want to make sure that I get it on the outside of the ring of the hoop. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so cute. I'm obsessed. Don't. How cute is that, though? Okay. Oh my god. Have you ever painted outside after you stitched? I have, but it tends, after I'm done stitching, I tend to not, what's going on in this picture right here? What is this? I think that's in the video. It is in the video. Okay, good. I was like, I tend to not like to get the hoops painted because the paint, because it's wood, it will totally seep into the wood. So I tend to paint it before, or if I do it after, I don't love to do it because sometimes when you take your stitching out of the hoop, okay, the tension on your fabric is not the same when you put it back in the hoop again. So if you've got a lot of like long satin stitch, or even some like long back stitch, if you've like outlined things, then sometimes it can kind of like hump up afterwards. Now, if you don't know what color you want to paint today, that's totally fine. I would not put paint next to your threads though, because your threads will soak up that paint. It is fiber. So if it gets wet, including paint, those threads will suck up that paint. So here I've painted around where I'm not going to stitch except for the outside edge. So if you're thinking, I don't know what color to paint the outside, but I know I want to paint it something, have a think. If it doesn't come to you, you can always do it later. You can take it out and put it back in a different day. Take it out and paint it and put it back in a different day, especially if you outline it with like a black color or something like that. But if you outline it with like white, you're going to have a hard time, because if you outline it with white and then you go back and color it or paint it, that white thread is going to suck up the color, whatever color you pick. So just have a think about that, because the minute you get anything wet that's fibrous, it's going to suck up that water. It's going to suck up that color and that paint color. So that might alter it a bit. Let me just have a little scroll for any questions after you stitched. I've done that. Carol, it's okay, get tissue. Why not paint the fabric in the hoop? I've answered that question. All right, I think that's it. So if there's no other questions, I'm going to love you and leave you as I do. Everything is the same as with the free stitch along. Obviously with the fabric, with the colors. We might have some different colors with this one, obviously. Because we've got letters, you can do those in a pink or a black. If we've even got some like foliage here with like a greenery and greenery here, you can introduce a green color if you want to, or you can make it all kind of monochrome. I think I'm going to do mine all monochromes, meaning that I'm not going to do any greens or blacks or anything like that. It's all going to be kind of light pink to dark red. That's my choice. Obviously, you can do any colors that you want to. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm not sure I want to watercolor. Will you be stitching the heart shape as an outline? Yes, we will. So we'll do the heart shape here. Everything that you see that's black will be stitched. So any kind of black line will eventually be stitched, whether it's filled in or outlined, it will be stitched. So you can decide if you want to do that. That's completely up to you. So I hope you love it, and yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow for the free stitch along, we'll do 2 stitches so we can keep up to date. And tomorrow for the paid one, we'll just do the 1 stitch and we'll continue on our day. So enjoy, and just happy to be back and start the hearts. Yay! So I'll see you tomorrow. And enjoy. I know there's a lot of information. I know it's a lot, okay? And I promise you, it's not overwhelming. I promise you, it'll be okay. All right? If you've got any questions at all, it's now 10 o'clock. I'm going to bed. So buzz off. No, I'm just kidding. Just send me a message and I'm happy to answer. Okay? So don't be a stranger. If you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm a little bit nervous about this, or I just don't quite understand what you mean, just send me a DM and I'm happy to answer. Okay? So I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I'm excited. I'm really excited. Tag me if you decide to do this, if you've got your prep done, if you've decided to watercolor, if you've got colors picked, tag me and I'll share it in my stories as well. Because that's like my most favorite part about the Stitch Along is the community. Is that like we're all doing this together. It's not just me by myself and you by yourself. It's all of us together. That's like my most favorite part. So, yeah, tag me and I'll share. And I'll speak with you tomorrow. All right. Bye.